Did you know that 8 of the 10 most deprived areas in England are all in the north? Or that some UK cities have seen child poverty rise to over 40%, higher than many parts of Eastern Europe? Behind the glossy tourist photos and shiny regeneration projects lies a darker truth. Some of the UK's most iconic cities are quietly falling apart. We're talking about crumbling infrastructure, broken economies, soaring mental health crises, and communities being left behind, ignored by politicians, abandoned by investment, and hanging by a thread. Is your city one of them? Stick around, because in this video, we're uncovering 10 UK cities that are on the brink of collapse. And some of the names might seriously surprise you. This isn't just about statistics. It's about real lives, real consequences, and the urgent need for change before it's too late. Number 10. Newport. At number 10, we head to Newport, a Welsh city that once carried big dreams of becoming a regional powerhouse. But today, those dreams feel more like broken promises. After the 1990s, Newport was poised for a boom. A new wave of regeneration, business parks, and proximity to Cardiff gave hope that it would be the next big success story. But fast forward to now, and that potential is cracking under pressure. One of the biggest issues? Congestion and infrastructure chaos. The cancellation of the M4 Relief Road, a project meant to ease traffic bottlenecks, left the city gridlocked, literally and figuratively. Businesses that were once excited to move in are now quietly pulling out, citing poor transport and under-delivered government plans. Then there's the housing crisis. Property prices are climbing, but wages aren't. Locals are being priced out, while big developers flood in with luxury apartments few can afford. According to the Office for National Statistics, inward investment has actually dropped since 2019, despite all the grand redevelopment talk. And while the city has tried to rebrand as a tech hub, the jobs haven't followed the hype. For many families, things are tougher than ever. Public services are stretched thin, and food bank usage is rising sharply. Newport isn't beyond saving, but it's at a tipping point. A city stuck between past potential and a future that feels increasingly out of reach. So what went wrong? And more importantly, can it be turned around? Stay tuned as we count down even more cities in crisis. And the one at number 1 might just shock you. Number 9. Derby. Derby is home to Rolls-Royce, Bombardier, and Toyota, some of the biggest names in British engineering. On paper, it should be thriving. But look a little closer and you'll see a city split in two. While the high-tech industries and aerospace giants dominate the outskirts, the heart of Derby is telling a very different story. Deprivation, inequality, and social neglect are rising fast, especially in neighbourhoods like Normanton and Sinfin, where poverty and unemployment continue to climb. The city has one of the largest economic divides in the Midlands. Many residents live just minutes away from billion-pound industrial parks, but have little access to the opportunities they promise. And despite the headlines about innovation, Derby actually has one of the lowest rates of university attendance in the UK, especially among working-class youth. Public services are feeling the strain too. Schools in some boroughs struggle with overcrowding and underfunding. Derby's NHS services are stretched thin, and housing waiting lists have ballooned in the last 5 years. The sad irony: as high-tech jobs pour in, so does income inequality. A 2023 report ranked Derby among the top 5 UK cities for widening income gaps. It's not that Derby lacks resources, it's that those resources aren't reaching everyone. What do you think? Is Derby a hidden success story or a city left behind in plain sight? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're finding this eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe. We're only just getting started. Number 8. Middlesbrough. Not long ago, Middlesbrough was seen as the gritty engine of the northeast. Ironworks, shipbuilding, hard work, resilience. But today, that industrial strength has vanished, and what's left is a city slowly, quietly shrinking. Unlike other places trying to grow their way out of decline, Middlesbrough faces a different challenge. People are leaving. Since 2000, thousands have moved out, seeking better jobs, better housing, and better futures. Many of the houses they've left behind now sit boarded up, entire streets emptied out like forgotten pages in a photo album. And those who stay They're facing some of the harshest conditions in the UK. Middlesbrough consistently ranks among the lowest in life expectancy, especially for men. Mental health issues are on the rise, and nearly half of all children live below the poverty line, a statistic more common in war-torn regions than Western Europe. The sense of isolation here isn't just economic, it's geographic. Poor rail links, unreliable buses, and limited digital infrastructure make it hard for businesses to thrive or for residents to access opportunity. It's been called the most isolated urban area in Britain, and that title isn't just about maps, it's about being left out of the national conversation. There's pride in Middlesbrough, no doubt. But it's pride under pressure. The spirit's still there. You'll feel it in local cafes, community hubs, on match day at Riverside Stadium. But spirit alone won't fix hollowed-out streets, school closures, or mental health clinics stretched beyond capacity. Middlesbrough isn't just struggling, it's disappearing. One empty house, one departing family, one lost job at a time. Number 7. Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton doesn't make headlines often, and maybe that's part of the problem. Tucked between Birmingham's booming skyline and the rolling West Midlands countryside, this city feels like it's been quietly left behind, overshadowed and underestimated. Once a proud centre of manufacturing, steel, locks, engineering, Wolverhampton was a place where industry built communities. But when those industries collapsed, the recovery never really came. While Birmingham surged ahead with investment and redevelopment, Wolverhampton's transformation stalled. What was once promised as a regeneration zone now looks more like a city in waiting. You see it in the town centre, shops closing faster than they open, entire high streets now dominated by vape stores, betting shops, and shuttered windows. The nightlife has dulled. The buzz is fading. What makes it worse? Lack of investment. Government funding often bypasses Wolverhampton in favour of larger, more visible neighbours. Transport links are decent, but not transformative. Jobs exist, but mostly in low-paying sectors, with little room for advancement. And then there's education and youth opportunity. Some of the city's schools rank among the most underperforming in the region. Youth services have been cut back. Knife crime is rising. Many young people feel they have to leave to succeed. But the people here, still proud, still resilient. Wolverhampton isn't giving up, but it shouldn't have to fight this hard just to stay afloat. It's not the loudest crisis, not the most visible, but sometimes it's the quiet neglect that does the most damage. Number 6. Liverpool. Liverpool is a city that knows how to reinvent itself. From the docks that powered an empire, to the Beatles, to modern-day regeneration along the Mersey, this city has always found a way to bounce back. But behind the glass buildings and culture awards, something is cracking beneath the surface. Yes, the waterfront looks shiny. Yes, tourism is booming. But if you move a few streets inland, the story changes fast. In some neighbourhoods, over 50% of children are living in poverty. Food banks are overflowing. Entire families are skipping meals just to keep the lights on. Liverpool has been through economic hardship before. But what makes this different is the sense of déjà vu. Billions have been poured into city centre developments, but many locals feel locked out of the progress. Gentrification is moving in faster than investment in schools or social housing. Then there's the political instability. In 2021, the city's mayor was arrested on suspicion of corruption, leading to central government oversight. Confidence in leadership took a massive hit, and development projects were frozen, delayed, or scrapped altogether. The city's once-celebrated regeneration is now tangled in red tape, legal drama, and broken trust. Meanwhile, inequality continues to grow. In Kensington and Toxteth, life expectancy is nearly 10 years lower than in wealthier districts just a short drive away. It's a city of two realities, one booming, one barely holding on. Liverpool isn't collapsing overnight, but if current trends continue, it's heading for yet another cycle of boom and bust, and this time the bounce back might not be so easy. Number 5. Sunderland. Sunderland was once a titan of the shipbuilding world, a place where industry thrived, and the River Wear echoed with the sound of progress. Today, that industrial past has been replaced by bold promises of a digital future. But the gap between what's promised and what's real is growing wider by the day. The city has tried hard to reposition itself. Headlines speak of smart city innovations, 5G rollouts, and investment in tech hubs. But if you ask many residents, those headlines feel more like slogans than substance. Where are the jobs? Where's the change on the ground? Despite the branding, Sunderland still suffers from one of the highest unemployment rates in the northeast. A large number of young people leave the city for university and don't come back. In fact, Sunderland has one of the UK's lowest graduate retention rates. That brain drain is a silent crisis, one that's robbing the city of future talent. Meanwhile, austerity has hollowed out public services. Libraries closed, youth centres gone, mental health services overstretched. The city centre struggles with empty storefronts and rising antisocial behaviour. And while Nissan remains a major employer, the local economy is too dependent on a single industry, making it dangerously vulnerable to global shifts. Add to that the post-Brexit trade uncertainty, and Sunderland finds itself caught between the past and an uncertain future. The dream of becoming a digital powerhouse is still alive. But right now, it's just that, a dream. Until those promises translate into real opportunity for ordinary people, Sunderland will remain a city with potential, but little payoff. Number 4. Stoke-on-Trent. Once known worldwide as the beating heart of ceramics, Stoke-on-Trent, the potteries, was a symbol of British craftsmanship and industrial pride. But the kilns have cooled, the factories have fallen silent, and what's left behind is a city struggling to redefine itself. As the pottery industry collapsed in the late 20th century, so did the foundation of Stoke's economy. Thousands of skilled jobs vanished. Entire generations lost not just their livelihoods, but their identity. And while some manufacturers still remain, they're a fraction of what they once were. The decline didn't stop at industry. Stoke now faces some of the highest rates of preventable illness in England. According to NHS data, residents here are far more likely to suffer from long-term health conditions linked to poverty, poor housing, and limited access to care. Education hasn't filled the gap. Many schools underperform compared to national averages, and Stoke has one of the lowest university attendance rates in the country. For young people, the path forward often feels more like a dead end. There's also the issue of social cohesion. As jobs disappeared and services were cut, crime and antisocial behaviour began to rise. Many neighbourhoods now suffer from high unemployment and poor mental health outcomes. And regeneration? It's patchy. Some pockets see investment, while others fall further behind. But perhaps the saddest part? Stoke doesn't get talked about. It's not in the media spotlight. It's not a political battleground. It's just forgotten. The spirit of the potteries is still there, buried beneath decades of neglect. But unless serious, targeted investment is made, Stoke risks slipping further into decline, a proud city losing its voice in the national conversation. Number 3. Hull. Hull is no stranger to hardship. Positioned on the edge of the Humber estuary, this city once thrived as a maritime hub, shipping, fishing, and trading across the globe. But over time, tides changed, the fishing industry collapsed, the docks emptied, and Hull was left facing a slow-burning economic crisis that still grips the city today. In recent years, there have been efforts to revive Hull's image. In 2017, it was crowned the UK's City of Culture, a moment that brought investment, tourism, and a flicker of optimism. But for many locals, that optimism was short-lived. Once the spotlight faded, so did much of the momentum. The reality on the ground remains tough. Hull is consistently ranked among the lowest UK cities for economic growth. Unemployment is high, especially among young people. Many neighbourhoods experience deep-rooted poverty, digital exclusion, and poor access to quality education. Transport links only make things worse. Despite being a port city, Hull is one of the most poorly connected cities in the UK by rail. It's isolated, not just physically, but economically. Businesses are reluctant to set up shop. Opportunities are scarce. Housing is another issue. Much of Hull's stock is old, energy inefficient, and in disrepair. Combine that with rising energy costs, and you have thousands of families living in fuel poverty, having to choose between heating and eating. Hull has heart. Its people are proud, warm, and community-driven. But pride alone can't pay the bills. Without serious long-term investment in infrastructure, education and industry, Hull risks becoming a permanent symbol of post-industrial decline. A place that once mattered, now quietly left behind. Number 2. Bradford. Bradford is one of the youngest, most diverse cities in the UK. Over 30% of its population is under 20, and it's home to a rich mix of cultures, traditions, and stories. On paper, that sounds like a recipe for innovation, energy, and growth. But the truth is more complex and more troubling. Despite its youthful vibrancy, Bradford ranks among the most deprived cities in England. 1 in 3 children lives in poverty. Schools are under pressure, and the job market isn't keeping pace with the needs of its fast-growing population. Bradford has long been promised regeneration, new business districts, improved transport, better housing. But delays, underfunding, and political hesitation have left much of the city stuck in limbo. The city centre is dotted with empty retail units, stalled construction sites, and crumbling civic spaces. This is a place where potential is everywhere. Yet opportunity feels painfully out of reach. A significant number of residents lack access to higher education, and those who do succeed often leave the city behind in search of better prospects elsewhere. The issue isn't a lack of ambition, it's a lack of support. Communities here have been resilient for decades, but resilience has its limits when basic infrastructure is neglected and inequality is allowed to fester. Worse still, racial inequality remains a major challenge. Many young people from minority backgrounds face structural barriers to employment, housing, and even policing. Bradford's diversity should be its greatest asset, but it's too often treated as a challenge rather than a strength. Unless major investment and targeted policy changes arrive soon, Bradford may find itself stuck, young and full of promise, yet unable to move forward. Number 1. Blackpool. Welcome to Blackpool, once the UK's favourite seaside escape. Towering roller coasters, donkey rides on the beach, candy floss arcades. This was the British dream holiday for generations. But behind the lights of the pleasure beach and the glow of the Blackpool Tower, a very different reality has taken hold. Today, Blackpool has the unfortunate title of being the most deprived town in England. Year after year, it tops the index of multiple deprivation, a measure that looks at income, health, education, housing, and crime. And the statistics are sobering. Life expectancy here is among the lowest in the country. Suicide rates are shockingly high. Many neighbourhoods are plagued by chronic unemployment, addiction, and crumbling social housing. In some areas, nearly half of the working-age population is on some form of government support. How did it get this bad? When package holidays abroad became affordable, Blackpool's tourism economy collapsed almost overnight. Hotels were abandoned or turned into low-cost, overcrowded housing for vulnerable people, many placed here from other regions without adequate support systems. Services struggled to keep up, and the cycle of poverty dug in deeper. Today, schools and hospitals are stretched thin. The town centre is filled with boarded-up shops and payday lenders. Meanwhile, regeneration projects come and go, often announced with fanfare, only to be scaled back or cancelled altogether. But perhaps the hardest part is the stigma. People from Blackpool know the jokes. They've heard the stereotypes. But this town is more than headlines and hardship. It's communities trying to survive a system that seems to have forgotten them. Blackpool isn't just on the brink, it's already fallen. And unless bold, sustained intervention happens now, the future could be even darker than the past. These cities aren't just names on a list. They're home to real people, real struggles, and real stories that deserve to be heard. Which city shocked you the most? Or did we miss one? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. If this video opened your eyes, check out our last deep dive on how Britain's housing crisis is reshaping entire communities. And hey, it's just one click to subscribe, but it means the world to us. We pour hours into these videos to bring you stories that matter. Thanks for your support.